start it. Okay, we're going to talk about favourite Black Swans. These are hot stuff at the moment. We've gone a bit crazy on them, I think, really. We've got 22 different models of Black Swans in. That's how much we love them. I'm going to try and go through the characteristics of each one. There are sort of like 4 distinctive features with the actual design look of them, and they are all very different, and they all do very different jobs, you know. So it is quite difficult to sort of like break them apart if you don't know. So I'll try and explain it as best as I can, and if there's something I missed, please comment below, and I'll do my best to answer it. But why are these so good, and why is everybody talking about them? Firstly, I suppose it's the carbon in it. So they are all Toray carbon. They are modular 40 to 46 ton carbon. What does that mean? It means it's a weave of carbon leading up to 46. 46 ton carbon is one of the highest carbon ratings that you can get, i.e. that's really, really sensitive carbon, i.e. it makes the rods really light, okay, and very sensitive. So the tip part, okay, forms up to 46 ton carbon, where the lower part, where you don't need it as much, okay, where you do need the weight to balance the rod out a little bit, is 40 ton carbon. So modular 40 to 46 ton carbon. Okay, there's only a couple of rods higher than that, okay, which are like 700-800 pound more at 55 ton carbon, where these are 40 to 46 ton carbon. They've got something called a T1100G gram Toray carbon as such. So that is a Japanese carbon that was, well, it's a carbon that's designed by Toray. I'm going to waffle a bit here, so sorry about it if I'm starting to bore you already. But it was a Japanese carbon that wasn't released into Europe or the rest of the world until last year. Favourite got hold of it first. Western have started to do a T1001G as well. So it's a very high graded carbon that is honestly used on satellites and spaceships. Please Google it. Yeah, it's extremely lightweight, extremely sensitive, and extremely strong. So it is used quite a bit across the range of pieces that can be used throughout the world. You know, like satellites and everything. My computer's gone off in the back, so I do apologise for that. So, It's not just used for the rod market, the T1001G. So super sensitive, super strong, super lightweight, super thin. That's what you've got to take from that Toray. With the lighter models, the ultralight and the lights and the nanos, they use something called an MLS, which is a multi-layered slim structure. So it's a different way of wrapping it. So I don't know if you can see these yet, but I will try and hold them up. Okay, the ultralight, the nanos are very, very thin. Okay, and then all the way up to an SG, so super heavy. Okay, so this is, I think this one's up to 2 grams. We've got another one that's up to 1 gram. You know, well, it's 38 grams in weight. So the whole rod weighs 38 grams. Where this super heavy one here, okay, weighs 147 grams. So for a rod that costs up to 120 grams, only weighs 147 grams, is super light. That is super, super light, you know. So when you're talking about rods that go up to 120 grams, you are in that 200, 250 grams weight of the rod, actually physical picking up the weight. So how does that done? That is done with the Toray 1001G carbon and the 40 to 46 ton carbon and that whole MLS, yes, that multi-layered structure, which is for the ULs and Ls and nanos, the super light ones. The lightweightness as well comes from the Torzite rings and guides. Now, not all of them have got full Torzite. So they've all got Torzite frames, okay, which is generally 30% lighter than any other Fuji ring out there as such, or frame out there. And the ultralight, or the lighter ones, the lighter models have full Torzites, and then some of the heavier ones, the M's and the MH's, okay, also have full Torzites. Yeah, but all that details can be found on the website anyway. So there's quite a lot into it. So what does that mean? Torzites 30% are made of titanium, so titanium Torzites, 30% lighter. They don't rust. Yeah, this is a saltwater stroke freshwater rod, so therefore, you know, they don't rust, they don't freeze as well. So, you know, titanium is one of the strongest metals out there. Okay, so that's a massive plus point. Super strong, super light. So saltwater and freshwater proof. You know, they're not going to go rusty or anything like that. All right. So that's, if they haven't got Torzites, they've got Sync S guides in there, which are obviously the ones just below the Torzite. I've got a few 4-hour in front of me, and they've got different handles. All right, okay. So you've got different styles. So I'll start with the nano. So this one is the one that goes up to 2 gram. Okay, as you can see, very minimalistic, not garish, matte black finish which is cut away into, you know, silver. Cut away, sorry, with the matte finish will cut away design, so you can actually read what it says on here. Very minimalistic. Again, this is a very, very light one, very short handle. Okay, you can actually make this one shorter. Okay, so the other key element as well with a lot of them are, they've got a flat part on the actual butt sections. Okay, on the heavier ones and the ultralights. Not on the nanos, not on the ultralight. Oh no, it is on the ultralight, I do apologise. So on all the handles, they've got this flat in part, which makes it sit very comfortably on the elbow. You're not going to get any slippage from that EVA formed there as well. All right, okay. So different handles. So there are 4 different handles, 3 different handles, but with an extension with the longer ones, and 3 technically different types of rings. This is a single leg ring, okay? So very, very light, very, very minimalistic. It does flex very well, okay? So it enables you to, when you cast, you've got that spool of line flexing here, and it goes through this small ring, and therefore it flexes to enable less restriction and less wear on the actual line as well, or the braiding. So therefore you do cast slightly further when you've got a flexible ring on there. But when we go to the heavier ones, it's a different sort of like ball game. But that's the design on there. So super light, okay. So your ultralights, okay, your lights and ultralights have the single peg ring on there as such. So the nano different, okay, very different. You can put that aside. So remember, there's 2 different nanos, 1 gram up to 1 gram or up to 2 grams, 38 grams in weight, 41 grams if I'm correct. Slightly got it wrong, but they're very, very light. This is the ultra light. This is the T. There is an S, so the T is a tubular tip, the S means a solid tip. The solid tips are always more sensitive. They are a bit more tippy than a solid tip, so they will bend a little bit more, okay, than a tubular tip. But you can get the ultralights and lights on solid and tubular tips. Just look for that T or the S at the end, okay. Look at this handle here, okay. I think this is called a Type A handle. Yeah, Type A handle. Let me just double check if I'm being a bit thick. All the details are on the website again. Yeah, this is a Type A where that single leg is called an AT, single leg. Okay, so on the ultralights and lights, okay, with this one, okay, you've got the Type A, TA, okay, single leg, okay, no problem at all, making it super light. Slightly bulbous area again, full minimalistics. Obviously with the little one, it will say on there, got 4 Torzites. With the ultra ones as well, they've got this nano alloy tech as well in it as well to make it even thinner. They are super thin. So this one I think weighs 58 grams. 58 grams. That's crazy. You know, real good, amazing. So 2 different handles on there, and this is where you step up. And these are the ones that, you know, are your bit more traditional looking rods. Okay, they've got a bit of a composite mix of handle, EVA, okay, with a bit of carbon on it as well, EVA flat at the end, okay, minimalistic as well, okay, but then it's got the traditional sort of like twin guided eye at the end, all right, okay, so again that is twin legged, okay, will flex again to give you that sort of like little bit of movement in there and less friction on the line as you're casting. That leg's called a KL-H leg on there, and that real seat is called a Type B as such. All right, okay, real nice, beautiful finish styling. All right, on there as well. Again, all that T1100G. As you step up, this is the SH. This is the heavier one in the range. Okay, this is an 8'5" beast of a rod. Okay, ideal for again saltwater and the pike anglers on there. But just to bring this in, it's got the three-legged, very solid. Okay, you can see titanium written on the actual legs there as well. Okay, real strong guide. Okay, so this is for the casters out there. People really sort of like heavily belting this out as much as possible. So that is a fix, but you can see it's tighter, okay, to the actual blank of the rod. So it's going to add a bit more friction in there, but because it's not going to flex. But the power of these rods are absolutely phenomenal. All right, we've got 22 different models. Going from 6 foot all the way up to 9'8" now. Okay, the biggest sellers at the moment, for the moment, the bass market's gone crazy on these. Thank you, Henry Gilby, who has been talking about these on the blog. That 9 foot medium, that's 6 to 24. Then you've got the MH, which is up to 36, and then you've got the H up to 56. Seem to be the best sellers at the moment for the bass market, where the perch market and stuff like that are going for the 2 to 10s, or up to 14 grams, which have been amazing. Where the pike angler is happy to go that medium to super heavy, where depending on what they're casted around. But it's been a mixed bag of our biggest sellers. But what Favourite have managed to do is cater sort of like for that whole range of angler, what they're going to do. But they are quite special in the sense of in many aspects. There are, like I did mention Western earlier, they have got this new T1100G, but that's in their new W8. Now that W8 is 450 pounds plus ish. These start at around 250. And I think the SH is 329 now, 320, around that money, where the standard M to MH, the 8'5", around that 260. So excellent value for money. Okay, but the difference between this and most of the others, and I'm not going to slag Western off, but we do like to compare a lot of the products here. These have got Torzites on. Western hasn't got Torzites on, and it's £100, £150 more rod, same carbon as such. Okay, ringed slightly different, but it hasn't got Torzites on it. So how can they justify that amount of money when you've got this, understated looking, very, I think, quite a sexy looking rod for less money, far superior, 30% lighter, and just actually does the job really, really well. So, we've got lots of rods here. We've got over 1,500 different rods here at Predator Tackle. We see a lot come through. I like these a lot. I do like these a lot. I am lucky enough to have an 852M, which I've been using for bass fishing and for as my light piking rod. So I have used them. They are very, very light and very, very sensitive. So honestly, feel free to give us a call and have a chat about them. Definitely, you won't be disappointed if you are looking to upgrade your perch rod, if you want a light rod, or you're looking for that ultimate bass or pike rod. They don't go super heavy, up to 120 grams, okay, but they are not broomsticks. These are beautiful pieces to play with, all right? So feel free to give us a shout if you want to have a chat about them, but they're available on the website. We do have limited quantities left. As it stands today, we don't have any M's, MH's or H's left in the 852s, but I've put on there, as per the 2nd of June, how many we've got left coming in. We do have a big batch coming in. I know they've been dispatched already. They could be here as early as as next week, okay, which would be just before the season starts, okay, but we have put on there they should be in by no later than the 27th of June. So perfect for the new season and perfect for the bass season, all right? So have a look at them. Lots of reviews on there. Thank you, Henry Gilby, for doing a review on them as well. But I just wanted to show you some key points about how different each of the rods are, okay, so you know exactly what you're getting. Comment below if you want to know anything. Please subscribe, tick the notifications, and thanks for tuning in.